A Mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by Hockey Think Tank, you place for all passionate players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. It's just Vex and I today, guys. Just Vex and I today for a little holiday extravaganza. It's just the two of us today, and it's the end of the year, right? It's the end of the year. 2025 is coming to a close. We are getting dangerously close to 400 episodes, 400 full episodes, I should say, of the Hockey Think Tank podcast, which is kind of crazy. 7 years in, 400 epis, and that's not counting the short shifts and Friday face-offs that we've been doing. But I thought at the end of 2025, I've been having a lot of conversations about just the state of the game in at all levels. Like, I'm talking a lot of conversations with people working in the NHL, a lot of conversations with people working in college, juniors, all the way down to youth hockey. And I feel like there's some common themes of things that I'm hearing. And so what I wanted to do today was I picked 5 of them, just like 5 things that I'm hearing multiple times from different people at different levels of the game, of just like what's going on in the game today, and have a little discussion about where we're at, having a little discussion about what some of the challenges are, what some of the solutions might be to those challenges, and what's going really, really well in our game here today. So it's almost like a little bit of a state of the game at the end of 2025 going into 2026. How can we make the game better in 2026? And I thought it would be fun to do that. So what are your thoughts, Vex?
Let's rip, baby.
Let's rip. But before we rip, we do have some people to thank. Let's get right into it today, baby. First want to thank our title sponsor, icehockeysystems.com, the best website for all of your coaching education needs. Guys, they have so many unbelievable things, including a couple new features. So we've already talked about thousands of drills, whiteboard explanations, the ability to go up and draw your drills up, build a library for yourself, build a library for your entire association. We have partnered with them to do a whole association platform, but they have also in the past couple of months come out with IHS Family. Is not only just for coaches anymore, it is for players and it is for parents. And there's so much unbelievable content about the culture of the game, how to navigate the game of hockey and youth hockey, and just so many great resources for players and parents as well. They've also come out with IHS Plus. So a lot of coaches want a little bit more content, a little bit more higher level type content. And so they came out with IHS Plus. Big part of IHS Plus is Daryl Belfry, who we just re-released a podcast with him, one of the smartest hockey guys in the world, works with guys like Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews, just the Hugheses, like just the best players in the world, right? So icehockeysystems.com, it is the best website out there. Tens and thousands of coaches they work with, associations, and now parents and players too. Unbelievable. Go to icehockeysystems.com today and check that out, guys. Vex?
Want to give a massive thank you to Train Heroic. You guys know Train Heroic's the awesome app that I use to train so many athletes around the world. Their platform allows me to deliver the highest quality training programs possible. So massive thank you to Train Heroic.
Boom. Also want to thank Helios Hockey, which you guys will hear a little bit more about later in the week. Helios Hockey, an unbelievable product that we really believe in. It is a sensor that you put into your shoulder pad, gives you real-time data, real-time feedback on your play, particularly when it comes to what they like to call the hustle score, which they have done some monumental upgrades in their hustle score for the players. Also, stride skating. Got to be able to skate in today's game, have some unbelievable development tools. and data and feedback on your skating as well. But the kicker for Helios Hockey is it is something that pairs up with your video. Doesn't matter if you're using your iPhone, your iPad. You can even link it up to live barn, camera, whatever, and you get your shifts of your game cut up for you directly after the game. And just something Vex and I talk about all the time. We wish we had when we were a player. It made us so much better. So go to helioshockey.com, use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, and you will get a 20% discount on your Pro Annual or Pro 24-month subscription, or go to helioshockey.com/teams and you get this for your entire team. Also want to thank Crossbar, the unbelievable website backend software that helps you streamline the operations of your youth hockey organization. Guys, we work with so many different youth hockey clubs, and we talk to so many different youth hockey directors and presidents, and there's so many people that have switched over to Crossbar from some of your other apps, some of your other big boxy type, things like that. And they are so happy that they switched over to Crossbar. And so what is it? It literally is a one-stop shop to help you run your youth hockey organization. It's got an unbelievable website backend, an unbelievable front-facing website that's just really easy to use for all your users, your parents, and your coaches. Unbelievable ease in registrations, whether it's big picture like the season or even little things like drop-ins and stick and pucks and things like that. They got a 5-star communication app to communicate with your families, communicate with your parents and your coaches. Unbelievable tools for financial reporting, volunteer management, facility management, like literally everything you need to run your youth hockey organization. And for those of you who are a part of being on a board of a youth hockey organization, or you're a hockey director, or you're involved, you understand that most of these people are volunteers. And if you can give them hours back in their day by being more efficient, that is such an incredible value add. And Crossbar is a back end and a website and a software that you can use that just really makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier. So go to crossbar.org today. Check that out. Also, guys, thank you so much for everything that you do for us. All the support that you've given our podcast over the years. Again, we're over 7 years in, over 2 million downloads in, almost 400 full episodes in, and we continue to grind this thing out because we love you. We absolutely love you, and hopefully this has been a value add and something that's been a positive for you in your hockey experience, no matter what level you've been at, whether you're just a parent, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, doesn't even matter. We want to provide information and perspective for all of you to help make your hockey experience a little bit better. And if you think that we're doing a solid job and you can interact with our podcast on whatever podcast app you're using, whether that's Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, we are everywhere. Anytime you interact with us by either downloading us or following us or shooting us ratings or reviews, it goes a long way to helping us to spread the word and getting us in more people's ears, and hopefully helping to make the game a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us for so long, man. Over 7 years, almost 400 episodes, baby. And I'm really excited. I think this episode is going to take us into 2026 with a bang. Let's talk about the state of youth hockey. Vex, are you ready to rumble?
Let's rumble, baby. In the jungle.
So I have 5 things, and I thought a fun way to do this would be, I don't really have an order. There's just no order necessary. So I want you to pick a number. Jeffrey Lavecchio, we're doing deal or no deal here. I want you to pick a number, and then we're going to go through 5 things that I'm really hearing from everybody in the hockey world, 5 themes that are pretty ever present. So Jeffrey, go.
Quattro.
Numero quattro, number 4. And actually,
who does number 4 work for?
Oh boy, we are idiots. Okay, number 4, but actually might be of number 1 importance. And that is, I am hearing a lot from a lot of people about the importance of the ice rink in the growth of our game. How important the actual physical ice rink facility is to the growth and retention of our sport. And so let me give you guys a little bit of a debrief. We've done a ton of work looking into ice rinks and the importance that they bring, obviously. So hockey is so much different than other sports. Other sports, You can have a basketball hoop, you can have a field of grass, and other sports, you can just go do that. We need ice. Ice is expensive. And, it takes a lot to upkeep a facility. And so what you're seeing a lot of in today's day and age of facilities is, and we've talked about this before, but you're seeing a huge shift in community-based rinks to privatized rinks. And there's a lot of rinks that are being bought up by private equity companies or, owners that are looking to make a profit. And because of that, it's kind of changed the landscape a little bit. The one state that has continued to lead the way in continuing to keep community rinks within the community where it is a civic part of their town, the town government realizes and understands the value of having a rink as a part of the community. What state do you think that is, Vex?
Minnesota.
It's Minnesota. And they're building more rinks. They're building outdoor rinks. Like they're just doing such a great job of keeping it in the community. Where in a lot of other places, a lot of the communities, and when I say community, I mean like the town government. Hockey rinks quite often are not in the black, and they are in the red when it comes to revenue and when it comes to finances. And so with everybody, particularly after COVID, really kind of squeezing and really taking a look at their finances with a fine-tooth comb, anytime that they can get a red off their balance sheet and their P&L, they might do that. And so with a hockey rink being so expensive to upkeep, what you've seen is a lot of communities either turn their rink into real estate and knock it down. The rink that you played in growing up in Chesterfield, Missouri is now a Topgolf and a big shopping center, right? Luckily, they built another rink not too far away, a couple of them. So, that's big. But you're seeing that, but you're also seeing instead of, keeping the rink, they're just going to be like, we're going to offload it and we're going to sell it to a private equity firm, or we're going to sell it to a for-profit entity that can come in and run it. And it's still a part of the community in a way, but it's for-profit and privatized. And so with that, that's really changed the landscape. It's really changed the landscape of hockey. There's a lot more hockey that's being offered 12 months a year because to churn a profit, you want more people on the ice, more. And I'm not sure as far as some of these rinks are concerned, they're that. And again, I don't want to make a blanket statement about this, but a lot of times what you're seeing is these for-profit rinks catering to the elites because the elites will spend a lot more money than the grassroots. And to grow the game, you need more people in the rink, not just charging the same people a lot more. And so this shift in mentality of rinks from kind of like community civic pride type stuff, which you see in Minnesota, to private for-profit, and you have these big companies, right? And there's a few of them in hockey that the concentration of the ownership of these rinks is becoming in fewer and fewer hands. These big companies getting a lot of these rinks, and with that they create different. Now I will say there could be positives to that because I want to make sure we tell both sides of every story. So some of these private equity firms have come in and actually saved rinks. Right. So like we talk about the Chesterfield rink that is now a Topgolf. Well, Chesterfield, the city is like, okay, we can make a lot more money by just making this into a Topgolf or something like that. And so they'll close the facility, or there's a lot of aging infrastructure, the upkeep and the refrigeration system and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really expensive. And so there's a lot of rinks that, it takes about 25, 30 years for an entire refrigeration system to kind of be at full capacity, and then it doesn't work as much, and then you have to either patchwork or really get better equipment to be able to keep the ice frozen and maintain what's going on in the rink, right? And so what you're seeing is if a town is like, man, like I just we can't keep this on our books anymore. Now they're selling it instead of making it into a shopping center or a Topgolf, using it for real estate. Some of these private equity companies have actually come in and saved rinks as well. So there's two sides to that story. Certainly it's made, I think, hockey a lot more expensive. But we need rinks to grow. Like we have to have rinks to grow as a sport. So a lot that goes into it, but talking a lot with a lot of high level people about the importance of making sure that we have more facilities and better facilities when it comes to our game.
Yeah, you can't play hockey without a rink.
No,
man. Yeah, it sounds like we need some wunderkind to invent a way to make ice that is a lot cheaper. I don't know what that looks like, but
keeps the energy costs down. Well, there are
Yeah.
certainly ways to be more efficient in the way that you run rinks. And I think there are some people right now that are really doing a lot of research into figuring out how to make outdoor rinks more accessible. And you can use outdoor rinks and then repurpose them in the summer for ball hockey or pickleball or whatever it may be. How many rinks do you know they have these huge parking lots, right? Like huge parking lots that you don't need that big of a parking lot. Well, maybe you can build maybe not even a full sheet, but a little bit of a smaller rink that is seasonal, right? You use it in the spring and the summer for pickleball or for, training or whatever it may be. And then in the fall and the winter, you use it for hockey. It's more practice time. It's more ice touches for the organizations that play out of there. So outdoor rinks and the ability to, it's a lot cheaper, obviously, for upkeep when you have that. So there's people looking into that. It's just like we need more rinks. And you look at like population data and membership data, particularly in your non-traditional areas, the Vegases and the Seattles, like the hockey starts to boom with the advent of the NHL team, but then you need more rinks to service the amount of players that are going to be wanting to play the game. So just the rink in and of itself is such an important part to the fabric of our game. And I've been hearing a lot about it at all levels of the game.
Right. And, I've said on the podcast so many different times too, like, I don't know, like what my goal is to have like more and more gyms that are like the size of my newest one, just like really big. And I can put offices in there and I can rent out offices and offset costs and things like that. And, like, I don't know who you're putting in those offices, but like people that are synergistic or in synergistic fields to like the people who are coming to the rinks, sports psychologists, nutritionists, masseuses, like whatever, like physical therapy places in rinks, like things that could help sustain some of the costs.
Totally. Bars, restaurants,
something.
Like
gyms, what's up? Hit me
it
up.
should be community centers, right? Like,
right.
It's not just, it doesn't have to be just an ice rink. How can we generate revenue to make sure that it's something that's like the towns or, the people that are building these rinks can break even at worst and make some money at best. So yeah, the rink's a huge part of it. One of the other things that's big with the rinks too is we call them rink deserts. So many rinks are built where? In suburbia. They're built in the suburbs. Hockey is an affluent sport. It's becoming more affluent by the day with the costs and the rising costs of everything in our sport. And you look at like a state like Minnesota and there's a rink in like every town, and I liken it to football. There's a football field in every town that has high school football, and all. That's just not the case for hockey. Like not every town is investing into an ice rink. And so you have these huge, big rink, we call them rink deserts, where most of the concentration of ice rinks is in a specific area around suburbs. And so if we can build more rinks in cities, or if we can build more rinks and convince, towns to invest in something like this for a smaller town, that it would be good for the civic pride of the community, then, then we can grow the game even more. So just rinks is such a big part of what we do. We gotta support ice rinks. We have to build more rinks. We have to find ways to make it more efficient and profitable for towns and for the private companies that are coming in that need to make money for their investors. So, man, it's about the rinks, man. It's about the rinks.
About the rinks.
About the rinks. Okay, I think we talked a lot about that.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Name your next number. What do we got?
2.
Number two. Who does number 2 work for? Okay, number 2. Been talking to a lot of people at a lot of different levels, and this I think is probably one of the biggest challenges we have in our game today, and that is the lack of focus on grassroots and too much focus on elites. And I mean that from the youngest of ages all the way to the oldest of ages. House leagues have died in the US and in Canada. Everybody says it's got to be travel, it's got to be travel, it's got to be travel, all that kind of stuff. And the house leagues, like people don't even want to call it house league anymore. Like when we were growing up, dude, like house leagues were ever present. Like there were house leagues, there were community leagues, there were rec leagues, they were massive. That's a great way to put it. And we have lost that. And with that, you're losing a lot of people from our game who don't necessarily want hockey to be their number one sport, and at least not yet. And like hockey, we're a different breed, and by losing the focus and the attention on the grassroots rec house stuff, our sport the numbers will continue to decline. And we've looked at the numbers, guys, like, and girls hockey going up everywhere. Awesome. Like, love it. I think it's great. Boys hockey in your traditional areas. I'm talking your Chicagos. I'm talking your Detroits. I'm talking your Bostons, your New Yorks, your most traditional areas, your Torontos, your Vancouvers, right? Like hockey is decreasing on the boys side a lot. And that is something that I feel like the lack of focus on the grassroots stuff, the lack of focus on the entry level and the continue to play model, that is something that I think we as a hockey community, and I'm talking NHL all the way on down, USA Hockey, Hockey Canada, we need a better continue to play model. We're doing pretty good with learn to play. Like the NHL and USA Hockey, Hockey Canada have invested a lot of money into learn to play and making it very accessible, from a cost standpoint, from an equipment standpoint, to get more people in the sport. The numbers will bear that out. Our continue to play and our attrition rate needs to be way, way better. And by not focusing on rec hockey and house hockey, that is a big problem. We need to get back to that. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of people at every level of hockey. Thoughts?
I mean, you say it all the time. We need more people playing for longer, as many people playing hockey for as long as possible. And if you cut out the legs of the table gets shorter. Yeah. Write that down. Right?
Again, louder.
Base of the pyramid, like we got to keep that thing thick and strong to then layer on top of it and get closer and closer to the apex, which are the best players. And like, it just makes sense from like, if you just like zoom out and think, like if all these people don't even try hockey at all, now they're playing other sports. Well, they're going to those sports that their kids are in. They're going to their NFL games, NBA games, MLB games. And like all those teams make the money. Then they, reinvest into the local sports teams in their area. They win more games, more people get involved, and it's a positive feedback loop that way. So like just having more people interested in being in rinks and around the game, just at a 10,000 foot view, it grows the whole game, year over year. We have less people in it. It does the opposite.
Yep. It's not good for the NHL and the owners' wallets to have this attrition rate. It's not good for USA Hockey and Hockey Canada because, again, the more players you have in your system, the more opportunity you're potentially going to have to have elite players just by sheer numbers. It's not good for business, for rinks. It's not good for just the culture of the sport. And so I think that we as a sport have to do a much better job at making rec hockey, making house hockey, whatever it is that you want to call it, much more important in the stratosphere of our game. And finding ways to make it profitable for rinks, because we just talked about rinks. A lot of rinks are for profit. A lot of people running youth hockey organizations are making salaries, and that's not to say that those are bad things, but we have to find a way to make rec hockey profitable, or at least break even. So then when the kids get a little bit older and they do want to travel, right? Like you have more kids in the system that want to do that, which means you make more money. And so I just think the tailoring of the elite at such a young age is, and we'll get into that in another one, but we need to make sure, and I encourage everybody here to go listen to our podcast episode that we did with Tyler Palmasino and Judd Stouse from East Grand Forks, Minnesota. They have kind of retooled their house. It's not even a house, like it's just their community program, and ran it more like a house rec, and just the way that they do things. They won their state championship last year. So they're obviously, developing elite players too. But it was a phenomenal episode. I think that everybody should watch or listen to. And we need to recenter our game back on, we need to put a lot more effort into the growth of those levels, not just our elite levels and our travel levels.
Totally agree. I think it's got to be the cost. It's got to be the cost.
Yep.
Like it's got to be the number one answer, and it can't even be close. If I'm guessing, did you get that deep in your research?
Oh yeah. I mean, the more A's you have behind your name, the more you can charge people. 100%. You can charge people a lot more in travel than you can in rec.
Right.
So, this is
just the cost of everything. Cost of ice is higher, transfer down to the player. Cost of equipment is more, transfer down to the player.
Yeah, but the more but this is the thing, right? Like that is such short-sighted thinking by so many people. The more people you have in your, in your ecosystem, the more money you're going to make, It's so,
right.
And the more people you keep in your ecosystem by making sure that you're investing into those levels, right? The more people are going to stay in the game, and the more money you're going to make, because those kids are going to stay with it instead of choosing other sports where now they go to zero as opposed to a couple thousand, whatever it is that they're going to be when they're playing travel. So we need to continue to sound the alarm on this. We need to continue talking about it more. No, we're not talking about it enough. You and I are probably not talking about it enough. Nobody's talking about it enough. We need to make the grassroots a big part of every discussion that we have about growing the game again, and go from there. So that is number 2. So we did number 4 and we did number 2. Okay. What number next? We got 1, 3, or 5?
Let's go with Cinque Terre.
The town?
It's a place in Italy. Let's go with 5.
I've been there. Em and I went there.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's one of our favorite places in the world. So cool. Anyways, we're going to go with number 5. I am going to put number 5 as lack of education in our game. The lack of parent education, the lack of cultural education. We do not do a good enough job of being being boots on the ground and being in rinks and really educating people. So here, let me digress for a second here. Mike Snee, who is one of my favorite people in the world, he works for the Minnesota Wild now. He used to run College Hockey Inc. and one of the smartest hockey guys. He calls sports default sports and not default sports. Hockey is not a default sport because you have to make an effort to join hockey. You have to make much more of an effort. And we talked about a bunch of different reasons why over the past 20 minutes that we've been talking. But like basketball, all you got to do is go get a basketball and go to a park, or, you have it in your driveway. Very easy. Soccer, you get a soccer ball and a field of grass. Football, you get a football and a field of grass, right? Like, so you don't have to work as hard to grow the game as we do in hockey. And so I feel like need to do a much better job of being boots on the ground, educating parents, educating coaches, educating players on the development path, what hockey can do for you, how special it is. how we can grow the game, working with organizations, boards, like all that kind of stuff. And, some people are doing that, but we're not doing it enough, not even nearly enough. And this is the stuff that we do. And we see such an impact by being boots on the ground and really working hand in hand with organizations to help them to get better. And so like USA Hockey does some of it, Hockey Canada does some of it, the NHL does some of it, but like it's very siloed and like there's not enough resources, I think, going into proper education of how to deliver our game. Parent education. You talk to any youth organization, what's their biggest stress? It's parents. Well, that's because we're not doing a good enough job of educating parents. You talk to organizations, what's another one of their biggest stresses? It's the amount of volunteers and coaches that they can get. Well, we need to do a much better job of educating our coaches on the value that they can bring to a team and the value that you can have in being a coach and volunteering your time. And there's so many volunteer shortages. It's a huge thing that I'm hearing at the youth hockey levels. So
what it's really about to be a coach of youth kids too. Like, I mean, I've been in a lot of these meetings and I've talked to a lot of youth coaches. Talking to one last night who's telling me in a different sport, but talking about 10-year-olds, and like the conversation was just wild. In my head, I was like, oh my God, like this is insane to hear you talking like this about they're 9, dude. They're 9. Like what? Yeah. Like just getting coaches to realize. And I think like you bring in high level people who made it to the highest levels of hockey, Division I, pro, that type of stuff. And because they can tell you like, hey, what got me there is like discipline and consistency and responsibility and all of those life skills then allowed me to get better at hockey. So like when you hear any player who made it to the highest levels or a successful businessman, like that's what they're saying. So like, again, those need to be focuses that we're making sure our coaches are harping on to the young players, because like I really do feel like our game has lost a lot of that when it's only about winning and parent ego and how many A's behind your team name and all these types of things. When it's like, dude, the game of we put kids in sports to be better human beings first and foremost and be healthy and all these things. And I really think we need to get back to that.
Yeah. And I'll take it even a step further because I agree with everything that you just said. But I think there are some incredible operators that have ran youth hockey organizations for long times and done it in phenomenal ways. And for anybody that runs a youth hockey organization or is a part of a board, you understand how unbelievably difficult that is. So many youth organizations are surviving, they're not thriving, like at the end of the day. And so with that, I think we could do a much better job of taking some of those people who have run some of these organizations and have them go on speaking tours, man, have them go and work with boards and things like that to help them to manage their operations a little bit more efficiently and have some collaboration. And like one of the coolest things that we do is, with our youth hockey blueprint, which we work with, clubs all around North America, once a month, we actually hold like a leadership call. So if you're on the board or you're a hockey director of that club, we have a Zoom once a month. We'll pick a topic and then it's just people in those positions sharing ideas. And it is so much fun. And we learn so much just from hearing some of the things that people are doing all around North America. And so you take some of those people and get those people in front of other leadership positions in hockey at the youth level. And man, it is just such a value add. And that's where like we need to do a much better job of this stuff. I think like, the governing bodies, you think about Hockey Canada and USA Hockey. I just like the coaching education stuff I think is good. And they're putting in a lot more resources into it. Like I know USA Hockey, for example, they just came out with like a bronze goalie curriculum for coaches that weren't goalies to learn a little bit more how to use their goalies in practice. They have a 6U, 8U curriculum now for like the youngest levels. So they're trying. But like we need, like whether it's the NHL or USA Hockey can't, like there needs to be more boots on the ground. There needs to be more people in the rinks, on the ice with the coaches, working hand in hand, collaboratively with, the affiliates and with the leadership of these clubs and with the rinks, right? On how to operate more efficiently and how to create and deliver our game in a much better way. And I think if we really invest into those things, we're going to have so much less attrition. Like our retention rates will go through the roof. Our growth rates will go through the roof. And so I just think we as a sport need to do a better job. And I think about like the ADM guys, right? And I don't know what their official titles are now, but like Jason Guerrero, Dan Jablonic, like, these guys around the country, when they're in rinks working with people, it's unreal. It's unreal. There's just too few of them. Right. Like we need more of that stuff. And I've seen it being in the rinks. I've seen it with the stuff that we do. Like when you have good people in the rinks educating people on the game, it's just such a value. We need to do more of it, man. Need it. All right. Anything else for that?
No, nailed it.
Okay. So we got, what we start with 4, we talked about the rinks. Number 2, we need more focus on the grassroots and the entry level and continue to play type stuff. The wreck the house. Number 5, lack of education. We need more of it. 1 or 3. Where do you want to go next?
Let's go with 1.
We're going to go with 1. Something we talk about a lot and something that I hear literally every day. I get a note, I get a call. People working in the NHL who have kids in youth hockey, people in college hockey when it comes to recruiting, people in college hockey who have kids that are playing now. The culture of our sport is way too professional at way too young of an age. And it could be singly outside of the rinks, the most important thing in our game. Like our game and how we deliver it at the youth, like the youngest levels, is getting worse and worse by the day. And this is something that needs to change. And I will scream from the rooftops about this. And I think, I've talked to a lot of really smart hockey people over the past couple of weeks. I'm doing my due diligence and my research. And this comes up in every single conversation that I have. Enough with the AAA at mites. Enough with the AAA at squirts. Enough with the select, summer stupid, you have to do this to be a college hockey player at 9 years old. Right? Like if you want to do it for the experience, whatever, fine. But like this, the messaging that we have at the youngest levels of our game right now sucks. And the fact that people think that they need to play that level of hockey at that young of an age, or else their kid is not going to make it, that's their dream at the end of the day, is a severe, severe failure of the leadership of our game at every single level. The NHL, the national governing bodies, the people who run the organizations, the affiliates of the national governing bodies, us as people who talk about the game. This is something that is killing our game. It's absolutely killing our game. The fact that we have such a professional atmosphere at such young of ages. What was the thing we talked about on one of the short shifts or Friday faceoffs a couple weeks ago? Like advanced 3-year-olds are allowed to play in this clinic type thing. Like, what are we doing?
Advanced 3-year-olds.
Yeah, or accelerated. I can't remember what the actual name of it.
I think it might have
been advanced. But like, guys, we need to call this out more. We need to talk about this more. Literally every conversation I have with people at every level of the game, NHL, college, junior, youth, everybody is talking about this and how unbelievably wrong it is for our game in every capacity when it comes to growth, when it comes to retention, when it comes to the culture of our game, when it comes to the financial implications of these things for our game and the people that are dropping out because if they don't make X team at X age, they feel like, what's the point? Guys, like this is awful. We need to call this out more. We need to talk about this more. I wish we can regulate it more. That's the thing that really, really irks me is that like, there's only so much USA Hockey and Hockey Canada can do. We talk about the clever Super League up in Canada, right? Like all these unsanctioned outside of Hockey Canada leagues so they can do this stupid stuff that is not growing our game. Right? You talk about people leaving USA Hockey because they don't believe in the ADM and the model because they want to have an extra A or whatever it may be. And that's not to say that USA Hockey and Hockey Canada are not, they're not always right. And we talk about that. But like, man, it's hard to regulate that stuff. It's like, okay, like you're not going to regulate it. So I'll just go and do it myself. That's a hard problem. Or I'm going to sue you. so I get what I want. That is a real problem in our game. And as a part of a governing body and talking with a lot of, affiliate governing bodies, sometimes they operate out of fear of, there's not an endless amount of money that they can, use for lawsuits. If a parent doesn't get what they want and has a war chest to make sure they get what they want for their financial interests or for their kids. And so, man, dude, like, this is something I am really, really passionate about. This is everything for me that is wrong with the game. And it goes back to like the lack of focus on grassroots, and community hockey and rec hockey. Like there's no such thing as an elite 8-year-old. There's no such thing as an elite 10-year-old. There's no such thing as an elite 12-year-old. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, there isn't. There really, there's, the top and the bottom, and there's good and there's bad and whatever. But like, there's no such thing. There's the journey, the path is so much. And I see it as a college coach, guys, like as a former recruiter, and you talk to college coaches, like the best players at 10 aren't the best players at 12 a lot of the time, who aren't the best players at 15, who aren't the best players at 18, who aren't the best players at 20. Do you want the best 10-year-old? If you want the best 10-year-old, go play AAA hockey at 10. You're probably going to have the best 10-year-old, but you're probably not going to have the best 15-year-old because your kid's going to hate hockey, and you're going to hate hockey as a parent. Why? Because
you're going to be broke.
Exactly. Because you're going to be spending stupid amounts of money on travel and all this stuff that you do not need to do. You're going to fall out of love with the game as a parent just as much as your kid is going to burn out from the game. Like, imagine the toll and the dollars that it takes. Let's say you start playing hockey at 8, AAA hockey at 8. Right? And you go from 8 to 16, let's just call it 8 to 16. And you pay that amount of money. Let's call it on average 20 grand a year. On average, from 16 down to 8U, with all the travel, all the summer stuff and the spring stuff that you need to do, and all, like, okay, let's just say 20. Okay, which in some areas might be a little much, but in some areas it's not even close to what they pay. But let's just on average it 20 grand a year for 9 years. How much money is that, Vex?
160 G's.
Well, if it's 9 years.
Oh, 9 years. I thought you said 8 years. 180 G's.
$180,000 in 8 years for your kids' youth hockey. Are you going to want to do that? Are you going to, let's say you're a parent that is being approached by a tier 1 club to play for their 8U AAA team. Okay, this is the path that you want to go on. Do you want to pay $180,000 for your kid's youth sports experience?
No.
Is that going to make you love the game more?
No.
The pressure that it puts on these kids to be in that environment for that long, do you think it's going to help your kid love the game more? Not a chance. Zero chance. I shouldn't say zero chance because it happens. So 5% chance, like there's a reason why Minnesota develops the most elite athletes in the hockey world by far. Why? Because they don't have this stuff as prevalent. Like, again, there's crazy everywhere, but like, it's not even close to as prevalent as other traditional markets and even non-traditional markets.
And think about back in juniors when we all used to like rip on all the guys from Minnesota when they'd come to the team and like in a fun way, jabbing them. All the Minnesota guys have had so much pride in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
You could never, ever get a Minnesota boy to say anything bad about their hometown.
And how good, dude. And how good is that?
Cool now that I'm grown up. I'm like, wow, that was actually really cool.
I know, right? And how good is that for their development? Like,
amazing.
Again, like you talked to like the highest of elite levels of people who develop athletes. If you can play for something bigger than yourself, that is such an important part of development. Such an important learning how to be a part of a team, learning how to go through the ups and downs with other people. Like there's so many tangible hockey things that are important to that, but there's also so many tangible like life leadership type things that are so important to that. And dude, like how many people that you've coached or know or played with that like they were singularly on the path and that was it. And how many problems do those people have nowadays, just like outside of the game, because that's all their identity ever was. Yeah. And so like, if we're going to put kids in that environment at 8, like what are we doing? Like we are not only not developing good hockey players, we're going to develop mental issues in kids too, and families.
It's parent ego is 8U AAA, 8 AAA, 9 AAA, 10 AAA. That's parent.
It is and it isn't. There's that. Surely there is a part of that, but it's also like I feel bad for parents because where are they getting their information?
Yeah, the club taking their money.
Like, hey, if you're a parent that knows nothing about the game and you have somebody that comes up to you and who's like, hey, we got a lot of kids that have come through our program that have gone on to play at these levels and this and that. Everybody's a good marketer nowadays. Like, what are you going to do as a parent? Like, I don't put all of that on the parents. I put some of it, but like, it's not like you want what's best for your kid, man. Like, you're going to go to the ends of you will do that for Sophie. I will do that for my girls. We will go to the ends of the earth for our kid to make sure that they have the ability to succeed in life and reach their dreams at the end of the day. When I say that, I'm not saying we're going to give them everything, but like, we will support them and try. But like, I don't know soccer. Like, I've never played soccer, but if like Paige or Lucy or Celia falls in love with soccer, like I'm going to have to rely on other people to tell me what to do because I just don't know. So yes, I would say yes and no to that. But like ultimately at the end of the day, like guys, and I said a couple stories about my hockey rankings. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was? Just again, these are people who have worked in the NHL that have some involvement in youth hockey now, whether it's their kids or other things that like told me these stories. And like my hockey rankings, go listen to our episode with Neil Loden, the founder of My Hockey Rankings, hates how people use My Hockey Rankings now. It was a device to help organizations and teams in non-traditional markets find competitive games where they can have, like, we always say, like, the best youth hockey season is you go 500. It's the best youth hockey season from a development standpoint is you go 500. It's actually not good for your development to like be on the number one ranked team in the country, like at the youngest of ages. Right. So like people are using My Hockey Rankings, like in this professionalized way. And it's maddening how much that stuff just does not matter and how counterproductive it is.
About it too, because they've heard their parents talk about it and their coaches, and they care so much about it. Yeah, we're only playing 77 this weekend. I'm like, what? Who cares? It's a hockey game. Anybody can win any game, any day. What do you mean?
You also saved $1,000 not having to get on a flight or go stay in a hotel or whatever it may be.
Don't ever say that to me again. You get up to play your best game every single game. Doesn't matter if you're playing the Sisters of the Blind or you're playing the number one team. Does not matter.
Yeah. So I'm encouraging and imploring, and I won't say begging, but like we need to talk about this more and how it's ruining our game. Like at the youngest of ages of our sport, hockey is not about elitism. It is about fun. It is about creating a love for the game. It's about developing the base. And we have lost that in a lot of places in the US and in Canada. And if this continues to go down this road, it is really severely going to affect our sport in a negative way, from growth, from retention, from finances, in so many different ways. And so we are going to continue to talk about it. For me in 2026, it is going to be a topic that you will hear a lot from me about. We need to get back to the basics here. We need to get back to the grassroots and help families to fall in love with this game, not put pressure on them to feel like they have to succeed at ages when it's just completely inappropriate.
Totally agree, bro. Totally agree. I hate it.
A little fired up right now. Let's go.
Yeah. Makes one.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
Okay, so we did what was it? We started with number 4, and that's rinks. We talked about rinks. Then we went to number 2. Who does number 2 work for? The grassroots of hockey. We got to get back to the grassroots. We got to focus more on rec, on house, and building up that base. Number 5, we need more education. We need more boots on the ground. We need more people working with organizations, doing parent education on the ice with the coaches, on the ice with the players. Like, we need a more concerted effort to do that. Number 1, way too professional, way too young of an age. And like I said at the beginning, guys, these are conversations. Like, I'm taking this list is from conversations that I have had over the past couple weeks to a month when I've been doing my due diligence and research with people that I really trust and respect. Like, these are themes that I'm hearing from a lot of them, and from multiple people. These are a lot of the themes that are coming up. Okay. Last, silos. Way too much silos in youth hockey. And way too much silos as you even get to the higher levels of the game too. There is not enough collaboration in our game. There's way too much silos. And so you look at like finitely, like micro into youth organizations, there's a lot of silos. We talk about it a lot of the time. So many youth organizations are just organizations in the fact that they wear the same jersey. There's very little collaborative effort going on. There's very little kind of like sharing. There's very little kind of anything that binds people together from a culture standpoint. And so even at the micro of levels, we need to do a better job of not being in silos and being much more collaborative. And then as you get, you go out and you kind of go from a more looking at it from a 10,000 foot view. And this is Bob Mancini, one of the head guys at USA Hockey. He's talked about it with us on different podcasts and on HTTU. We have a competition model. We do not have a development model. That's what hockey is today. And it should be competition on the ice and collaboration off the ice. But what we have is competition on the ice and competition off the ice. And I've seen it, guys, like, again, with so much of the work that I do, when you get smart people in a room, when you get passionate people in a room to share ideas and collaborate and talk about the challenges of the game and talk about how you're handling those challenges and how we can work together to make the game of hockey better, it is absolutely amazing the types of solutions that come out of it. And it's absolutely amazing how much better the culture of the sport in those areas are, just by getting people on a collaborative nature rather than I'm just going to do my own thing. And so we have to do so much better at creating environments and atmospheres and creating really opportunities for collaboration, like the NHL to the national governing bodies, to the affiliates, to the organizations, to the rinks, to the leagues. Like the more times that we can get people to share perspectives and kind of understand the shoes that everybody's in. And that's honestly something that we try to do. We get the opportunity based on our networks and people that we know to talk to so many different people in this game at all different levels. And so I think part of the value of our podcast is being able to educate people on, different silos and what's going on. So you can have a little bit more information and knowledge and perspective, which can help you formulate your own opinions on things that are going on. And so I just feel like it's so much tailored towards competition. It's so much tailored towards what can you do for me and how do I get me or my organization a leg up on everybody else, rather than, hey, rising tide lifts all boats. if we all work together, and I'm not saying that we should have ties for every game. No, like Vex and I are not about that. We need to learn to compete. We need to learn how to, there's the puck. I want it more than you. That is a huge part of our game. Like, we are big believers in, learning how to not be complacent after wins and learning how to get pissed off when you lose and not want to do it again. Like, that's not what we're talking about. But what we are talking about is when we think about the environments that we're putting our kids in and how we deliver the game to our kids, the more we can get people working together instead of pointing fingers and blaming other people and all this kind of stuff that you see, like, the better off our game is going to be. Again, when it comes to growth, when it comes to retention, when it comes to the culture, when it comes to everything. And so it was funny. I was talking to Chris Howard, who runs ice hockey systems, unbelievable guy. And we were talking about this, and he made a really good point. And the point was when you lose trust, what are you going to do? You're going to look out for yourself, right? When there's not trust in the marketplace, when there's not trust in the system, and you don't feel like you have advocates in the game or partners in the game, what are you going to do? You're just going to turn inward and you're going to look at yourself. And I think that is like such a great description of what we see in youth hockey right now, is there's not a lot of trust in, whatever, like, not a lot of trust from parents to the organization, not a lot of trust from the organizations to the national governing bodies or the NHL. Like, and that's a blanket statement. There is some, but like, I think ultimately, like, when you lose trust in those things, again, what are people going to do? Like, they're going to, okay, I'm just going to look out for myself. I'm going to do what's best for my club. I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what's best for my kid on the micro level. And so I think you're seeing a lot of that. And we need to do a much better job of creating opportunities for collaboration and for people to work together.
Ooh, 7 different kinds of smoke today, dude. I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's so dead on. So the question is, how do we get all this done?
It's going to take work. It's going to take work. Here's the thing. We are solution oriented. We are very solution oriented. And I think 2 things are extremely, extremely important. Number one is just like what I talked about. It is creating opportunities for collaboration. It's creating opportunities to get people who are leaders in our game in a room and have hard conversations and really collaborate on how we can make our game better. It's going to take some people dropping a little bit of their ego. It's going to take some people thinking a little bit more outside of just their own thing, whatever that is, their team, their organization. But we need to create opportunities, and I've seen it. Like, I've done this stuff. I talked about the leadership Zoom that we do with the boards or the hockey directors of the clubs that we work with, and they sharing ideas. Like, man, like, I come off those calls being like, we're in a great spot. Like, hockey's in a great spot. We do have so many great people. We just need more great people working together with other people. Kent Allen, who you know, right? Hockey director of the Jets, a club here in Chicago. He came to me with an idea because I'm on the board of AHI, and he's like, hey, I feel like everything's so toxic here. Why don't we get like some smart people in a room and we can just share ideas? I'm like, dude, that is a phenomenal idea. So we did. We invited all the hockey directors in Illinois or somebody in a leadership position to Fifth Third Arena where the Blackhawks play, or their practice arena. And there was probably, 40, 50 people that ended up being there. I brought in some guest speakers from USA Hockey and from the NHL and, from the area and things like that. And we had a couple hours where we did, we had those speakers kind of talk on some things that they're seeing. And then we split up into small groups and we had people share and had different prompts and what are things that you're doing to help grow the game in your area and blah, 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 blah. Dude, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And like the feedback that we got from it is like, we need to do more of this stuff. And so again, creating opportunities for people who are good people who care about the game to get in a room, stop being in their silos and work together and collaborate. That's number one. And then number two, we talked about it too. Let's focus on the grassroots. Let's put our time and effort and energy and money into building the base of our game. The more we do that, the more benefits we're going to see on so many different levels. I think the more elite athletes we're going to produce because you have much more of people in the system. I think the more financially feasible it's going to be for everybody because you're going to have more people in the system and less people leaving. and it's just going to be overall like a much better culture for our game where it's not so professionalized at such a young age and people like just fall out of love with it. So yeah, man, I think those two things, if we can focus on collaboration and we can focus on grassroots, we do those two things in 2026, we are going to make our game better.
Let's get to work.
Get to work, baby. Like, honestly, like it's going to be a huge part of what we do. And I'll go to the ends of the earth, man, to make sure that all of the things that we talked about today, again, we are not in the problems business. We talk about problems, but we are in the solutions business. We want to make the game better. We want to affect change. And if you have ideas on any of the stuff that we talked about here today, let us know. Shoot me an email, topher@hockeythinktank.com, DM us, whatever is the easiest way. We're 2026. We're going to make the game better, guys. And hopefully you want to join on with this and do it too. And so I think honestly for today, guys, like we just wanted to, again, this is all a byproduct of a lot of different conversations I've had with people over the past little bit on what's going on with the game. These are themes that come up multiple times and in my conversations. And so I thought it would be fun going into 2026 to share it all with you guys. And so we appreciate you guys. Vex, you got anything to end with here?
Just please share the damn show and let's make hockey better.
All right, guys. We love you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Yeah, have a great new year. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.